Street Fighter 6 has been out for around about 2 years now, and with the newest edition of Elena in Season 3 being released, I thought it'd be the perfect opportunity to create a guide for beginners and help them make it over the initial hurdle that comes with fighting games. In this guide, I will be going over everything that you need to know to get started with Street Fighter and also some additional tips that will help you along the way. So without further ado, let's get right into it. When you open Street Fighter 6 for the first time, you'll be greeted with the game's tutorial. Shortly after, you're given a choice: classic or modern controls. Let's break it down for you so you understand the pros and cons of each control scheme. Classic controls are the ones that have been used in fighting games for generations. The pros of classic controls are that you have full access to your character's moveset, no damage reduction on special moves or supers, and they're overall better for long-term fighting game investments if you're ever planning on picking up other fighting games like, for example, Guilty Gear Strive or Grand Blue Fantasy vs. Rising. However, the downside of classic controls are that it is harder to learn initially since you need to get used to special inputs. For example, having to use a quarter circle for things like Ryu's Hadouken or Cammy's Spiral Arrow. Or even more complicated inputs like Manon's half circle command grab and Zangief's full circle screw pile driver. The other downside is that your reaction time is a lot slower than a modern control since you have to input everything manually. Classic controls, in my opinion, are the go-to controls for almost any fighting game player serious about wanting to get good at fighting games, and not just Street Fighter 6. Next, let's talk about modern controls. The pros of modern controls are that they're way easier to pick up at the start since you have one button special inputs, which not only make them easier to input but also significantly increase your reaction time. You also have an assist button which allows for automated combos, making it even easier for you since you don't have to learn any at the start. However, the downsides of modern controls are that you have a limited moveset compared to classic, meaning some moves of each character are missing. You have less damage on your one button specials and supers, and is a clearly inferior version of classic controls if you want to learn multiple fighting games. At the end of the day, the choice is yours. Do you want the initially easier start with modern controls, or do you want the long-term investment with classic controls? Next, let's talk about the system mechanics of Street Fighter 6, and this is where I come in to show you them one by one. Drive gauge is the green bar beneath your health and can be used for a variety of options such as parry, drive rush, drive impact, and many more. Drive gauge serves as a primary source for anything related to the system mechanics. So every move in Street Fighter 6 slightly chips the drive gauge, so if I press buttons here against Ken, as you can see, I'm slowly chipping away at them one by one. However, if I, for example, hold parry here, I would achieve the opposite effect of gaining it back. As you can see right here, if we use parry, it can be an active tool to recover drive gauge as well. And if you use parry at the same time Ken hits a button against us, we get a perfect parry. Like this, and then we can get a combo right there. The only thing you have to keep in mind is that the combos are scaled. They are way more scaled than the regular combos. If we were to hit a regular combo here with a standing heavy punch starter, it would never be this low. Next up is drive rush, and drive rush can be achieved by holding down the parry button and pressing forward twice at the same time. So something like this, field parry, and then tap tap, we'll be able to get a drive rush like this. The other method is by special cancelable moves, like for example Cammy's crouching medium kick and then pressing parry right after. You gotta make sure that you're not holding a direction like back, for example, otherwise it's not gonna come out. So if I hold back here and press parry, as you can see, nothing comes out. However, if I hold forward, it does come out. So by doing button into parry, you get an immediate drive rush cancel. This one takes 3 bars of drive gauge, not 1. So the regular one only costs 1, however this one costs 3. Regular drive rush is usually used as a way to get in on your opponent in neutral, whereas drive rush cancel is primarily used as a combo and pressure tool. Drive rush by itself also adds frame advantage onto moves, so for example Cammy's light punch right here is -2, however if I drive rush, I'll be +2. The difference right here is simple. If I have Ken press crouching light punch the same time as I do, which is both the frame data, as you can see he clearly wins here. However, if I drive rush, I'm the one who wins now and I can combo him afterwards. So that's just something that's important to keep in mind. If you drive rush at somebody, you're more plus on this opponent's block, which is most likely going to be your turn. So a move that is already plus, which right here would win against the light punch, will win even harder on drive rush, allowing me to get something like a medium punch which comes out a little bit later. Another thing about drive rush that is really good is it enables combos that usually aren't possible, hence why we use drive rush cancel to combo our opponent more than we would usually be able to. I'll now demonstrate 2 different Cammy combos, one without drive rush cancel and one with drive rush cancel, just to show you the major difference between the two. The first combo right here is going to be crouching medium kick into heavy spiral arrow. As you can see, this does 1300 damage and it pushes the opponent to the corner a good amount. But now, this is what happens if I do a drive rush cancel combo. As you can see, I got significantly more damage, significantly more corner carry, and I have a lot of advantage in front of my opponent now, which lets me go for either a strike, a throw, anything basically that I would like to do here. This should clearly demonstrate that drive rush combos are superior if you have the bars of drive gauge to spend for it. Make sure not to overuse it, otherwise you end up in burnout, which leads me to talk about the next system mechanic. Burnout is a state you reach by using up all your 6 bars of drive gauge. It is basically the polar opposite of a drive rush. Everything your opponent hits you with on block is now 4 frames more threatening. As you can see, he is +3 instead of the regular -1. Any light punch from Ken is now an immediate threat for us no matter what. So this makes it significantly harder to get out of bad situations, and if your opponent has you cornered, he can use drive impact in order to stun you. And stun allows any character to get their maximum damage combo and will most likely kill you. So as a general rule of thumb, you do not want to burn out in Street Fighter unless you can kill your opponent for it. Drive impact activates by pressing both heavy punch and heavy kick at the same time. Just like this, you'll be able to activate a drive impact. And this mechanic allows you to armor through your opponent's buttons. So for example, if Ken presses a button right here, I'll be able to armor through it and then combo him right after. If it's in the corner, you're actually able to get a tumble state like this, and you can combo your opponent like that. However, you have to be very careful not to overuse this mechanic, even though it looks very compelling at the start. Drive impact's direct counterplay is pretty much just drive impact back, as you can see right here, due to it taking a very long time to come out. And if your opponent uses any special cancelable moves, they will be able to just drive impact you through it. By holding forward and drive impact at the same time, you'll be able to drive reversal either on block or wake up against your opponent. So drive reversal is pretty much a direct way to get your opponent off of you if they're constantly mashing buttons against you. Just like right here, you can press a couple of buttons. As you can see, he is now on the other side of the stage. I am now free to do whatever again. This is just a great tool to use overall, so make sure to use it every now and again. Now that we've went over all the system mechanics, let's talk about picking your character in Street Fighter 6. If you don't have a character you want to play already, I recommend just testing out every character, looking at their moveset in training mode, and just picking whoever you feel is right for you. What's important is that the character comes natural to you. The more natural something is to you, the easier it's going to be to understand, the faster you get better as a player. Another big tip is making sure that you only play one character, not multiples, and splitting your focus, especially early on, will significantly halt your progress due to having to learn 2 movesets at once and also 2 completely different playstyles. If you've tested out all the characters and you're still unsure on who to pick, I recommend just picking any of the beginner-friendly characters in the game, like Ryu, Luke, or Cammy. Speaking of Cammy, I've even made a complete Rookie to Master guide on her, on how to go from the lowest rank to the highest rank in the game, so if you're deciding on playing Cammy, make sure to check that out after you're done watching this video. After we selected our character, it's time to become familiar with them. I usually recommend just figuring out the general buttons in training mode, testing out what they're capable of, and just having fun with the moveset that's given to you. If you want any direct help from the game, there's a character guides mode where they explain how your character works and how their specials interact with the system of the game. There's also a combo trial section where you can try basic combos all the way to advanced and get a feel for what your character is capable of. However, one of the things I've seen across tons of players is that they do struggle to then put those combos into action, since it's just too much information at once. So to make it easier, I've made a general ruling that should line up what you're supposed to do. I believe you only need 3 combos in order to get started, and later you will always be able to expand them once you get better and more experience with your character. I'll be using Cammy as my example character. However, anything and everything you want as combos can also be found in combo trials. So let's start with the first combo, which is a light combo. Every character has a light combo that they can use, and Cammy's main light combo right here is a crouching light punch, crouching light kick into crouching light punch, and then a medium spiral arrow. This is a simple yet effective combo that can serve you very well even into the highest levels of the game. Next is drive rush cancel combos. Drive rush cancels can be achieved by drive rush cancelable buttons or special cancelable buttons, like for example Cammy's crouching medium kick, medium punch, or standing heavy punch. Right here, the combo that I like to use is this one. It is a crouching medium kick into standing heavy punch, then target combo, jump into dive kick. This again, you can use this on pretty much any drive rush cancelable option except for lights. On lights, this is not going to work because it just won't combo. There's just too little hits on there in order to get anything going. But yeah, this combo can be used as your general drive rush cancel combo. However, if this combo is too difficult for you, you can simply go for something like this instead. This combo is a lot easier, but just does less damage overall, so pick and choose. The last combo is a drive impact or hard punish combo, because you will land drive impact eventually and get this punish counter state, so you need to know what you can actually do. This last combo is basically meant for all the long recovery options in the game, like a super or a drive impact. And if you have super meter right here, you can even end the combo with level 1, 2, or 3. If you have these 3 combos, you will have a way easier time figuring out optimal combos at a later point and are now capable of playing the game without overcomplicating things. It is important to simplify a fighting game as much as possible at the start, because the better you become as a player, the easier it gets to incorporate everything else over time. After you have successfully learned the basis of your character, you're probably wondering what the next best course of action is. Should you play ranked, casual matches, or battle hub? In my opinion, the best mode to improve and get familiar with the game as quickly as possible is going straight to ranked. Battle hub is completely random on who your opponent is, which will let you fight against people of all ranks, and casual matches also is a bit more random in terms of rank. However, ranked always gives you your opponent of similar skill level and letting you learn the game as much as possible, and also gives you the initial choice of selecting your skill level, which is perfect for learning the fundamentals. And speaking of fundamentals, I just launched my very own course in order to help people learn the fundamentals of fighting games. Whether you are a complete beginner or an experienced fighting game player, this course covers pretty much anything you need to know about the fundamentals, such as neutral, advantage, and disadvantage, but it also goes over basic concepts that can be easily applied to your gameplay. If you're interested in learning even more about Street Fighter 6, click on the first link in the description and use the code FUNDAMENTALS for 10% off your purchase. And with that being said, thank you so much for making it all the way to the end of this video, and I hope I've helped you even a little bit to get started on your Street Fighter 6 journey. I'll be releasing more guides like this throughout all of Season 3, so make sure to check those out on my channel in due time. But for now, have a good one. Bye.